exciting day for me, man. So sometimes whenever you make YouTube videos and you get stuff like this in, it drives you nuts because trying to wait for the opportunity to have the chance to make the video installing the stuff versus just saying screw it and just cracking into it, you know, like it really tries your patience sometimes. But today has come, man. Now we get to finally open all this stuff up. You guys have already seen the lights. We're gonna look at them a little bit closer today and actually get them installed. I am super stoked, like I have mentioned many times about these things, because the quality is just insane, dude. Like I was not expecting them to be this nice. I just wasn't. But that's only one piece of the puzzle. We got a bunch of those guys to put on, and then there's a bunch of stuff inside of here we got to open up, which is a part of this is going to be more of those. But so we got 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? AuxBeam. So the big thing in today's installation is this guy right here. This is the Mambo Jumbo, man. This is the giant, the huge. This is the biggest switch panel I think that you can get. This is a 12 gang. So you have 12 outputs on this thing. This is going to be a game changer on the Blazer because I do have a lot of things that I want to add to this, and having a switch panel like this is just going to make everything so much easier. Dude, this thing has its own fuse box. Look at this giant fuse box right here that we gotta put inside of the engine bay. Dude, that is so freaking cool, man. That's not even the best part of it. All of this, everything that you run off of this 12 gain switch box, obviously we're gonna have the screen that mounts inside of the truck. You can function each one of these, all 12 buttons, but with AuxBeam's 12 gang switch setup and with most of their switch setups right now, you can also operate with the remote control. So whenever we wire up the lights and everything to this guy, whether it's front lights, rear lights, anything that we have wired to this, we're going to be able to access remote control. So if I'm chilling out at the lake and we're fishing and I need some light, I can literally just push a button and turn my lights on the front of the truck. That's going to be really cool, but we're definitely getting ahead of ourselves, man. We have a lot of installation to do, so let's get into it. Enough for my house. So as of today, you have 12 days left to enter for the Mustang giveaway. Anything and everything on the website gets you entered. Every $5 you spend is one entry. I want to give a huge shout out to the 81 people who have already entered the giveaway. I'm telling you guys, you have got really good odds. So far, less than 100 people have entered this giveaway. And just so you know, every tiny little bit of profit that we make off of this car is going to be going straight towards us building a shop in the backyard to offer you guys better quality content. We're going to be drawing a winner for this thing Halloween night live right here on the channel. So don't miss out for it. Like I said, you got really good odds and time is running out. Alright, so I decided instead of just bolting all the lights up here individually directly to the rack, that I'd make a bar to actually mount them all on. So now we have this piece that we can mount all the lights, and then we can just set them up there as one and then bolt it down. So this guy is going to sit right there, and it's also going to allow us to scoot the lights back a little bit, and I took a notch out of the bottom of it so that this thing actually sits a little bit lower so that the lights aren't as high up in the sky, man. So now we can go ahead and get all of our lights spaced out evenly onto this bar, and we can actually move it around and get to the nuts on the bottom and all that kind of stuff. It's going to make life a lot easier. And you know what? As luck would have it, of course we're not lucky enough to be able to utilize the holes that are in the unistrut to evenly space these out over this bar. Most of the holes don't. Well, this one will fall inside of an existing hole, but there's a few of them that don't. So yeah, we're definitely gonna have to drill some holes to get them all centered and looking right, you know what I'm saying? Right now. All right, here we go. All right, man, we got the lights mounted up there. Dude, I have to tell you guys, I did something that is probably any YouTuber's like worst nightmare. As you guys know, we put a radiator in the Blazer. So in the middle of this video, right after the last clip, putting the lights up, I mentioned that I need to install the fuse box somewhere, and I was looking around trying to figure out a place to put it inside of the engine bay, and there's really no room inside of the engine bay. And I was kind of thinking about putting it inside of the truck, but really there's nowhere to put it inside of the truck either. I was going back and forth with the idea of deleting the airbag on the dash and putting it inside of there. Because, and then I explained last time Jessica went out and I went out how we were talking about, dang, we're lucky the airbags didn't go off. So I was kind of like, you know what? It probably wouldn't be a bad idea to ditch the airbags anyway, so these things don't blow up in our face one day out mud bogging or something, you know?
Smart man, didn't do it.
Anyhow, fast forward, I took a break from this video and I did the video installing the radiator, in which it came out fantastic. And I mentioned in that video that it was going to give us some much needed space, because I pulled some measurements and realized deleting the clutch fan and putting this 4-core radiator in here was going to make plenty enough room to put our fuse panel right freaking there. Yeah, and I recorded a portion of it, but it was on the SD card with the radiator video, and I cleared that SD card, so I cleared my footage. And dude, when I say a YouTuber's worst nightmare, is because it really hurts a little bit inside whenever you record something like work that you've done and it's for the purpose of a video and you end up just deleting it, or it gets corrupted or something. Like, dude, anyhow, to be straight up with you guys, you really didn't miss much, because I didn't record a whole lot of it. My thought process was to just kind of get through it and show it to you guys whenever I got it installed, in which it's installed. So yay, now we can move on. So the idea was to mount the lights and mount the fuse box, and then we just have to basically connect everything in between. Anyhow, there's a little bit of a mess going on in here right now, because I have my battery on the charger and I have a test light span out over there to the fuse box and stuff, because I'm trying to find auxiliary power, in which there is none in the engine bay, if you guys are wondering. So we need to get auxiliary power from inside of the truck. But anyhow, this guy came out really clean, dude. I got just about all the wiring in the engine bay finished, and yeah, that's perfect spot for it. This is the only place I was able to really fit it, and it's got plenty enough room right here now that we got rid of the fan clutch. But I got the power and the ground hooked up, and everything goes through. There's like a little channel on the top of this thing where all the wires go through and come out the back. But I have the main power and ground coming up, and I put a rib nut in here to put some tie downs for those so they can't move around like crazy. And they wrap around and they go straight to the battery. That's already hooked up. I've already got all the wiring and everything ran for the switch panel and into the cab that's got to go to the roof lights. So all that wiring is all done. It's already going through the firewall, and it's inside of the truck. That's what I'm working on now. But yeah, everything's all connected, dude. I got my fans hooked up over here on 5 and 6, and then these are the front lights on 11 and 12, and then 9 and 10 are the rear lights, which I haven't even showed you guys those yet. Yeah, we got a couple of rear lights that we're going to be installing as well from AuxBeam. These ones are going to go on the back, but we'll get to that whenever we get to it. I have a lot of wiring still to do. So yeah, I have just about everything from the dash that's removable up here on top of the truck. I've gotten this thing all torn apart, glove box out, the bezel out, all the under dash panels are out, so that I can run wires freely. This is the bundle that we got to run. It's really not terrible because this one, it's got to go up here. So I got to run that up through here, and we're going to blow a hole in the roof to plug that in. And then this one has got to come up here. Same thing, it's going to run up here. It's going to go through the same hole. This one's got to run to the back to where we're going to mount lights on the back. So none of this is really, it just kind of has to pass through the truck. So it's not on the outside of the truck. But these ones, this is our auxiliary power. So this is basically a signal for the fuse box that tells it whenever the ignition is on or whenever you have it in auxiliary. You know, whenever you turn your key all the way back so you can still listen to the radio, but everything else on your vehicle is off. That's auxiliary mode, if you didn't know. So basically the lights and all that stuff will also still work in auxiliary. That, and then this long boy right here, this thing is literally 20 feet, dude. This is for the switch panel, which I have in here inside of the center console. I'm pretty certain I've already showed it to you guys, but I haven't decided where I'm gonna mount that at yet, but we could pretty much mount it anywhere we want to because we have a 20-foot cord to run to it. All right, making a really quick hole in the side of the dash, and yes, in the side of the dash. If you notice, it's way tucked back inside of there, and whenever I put this pillar plastic on, it covers the whole thing up. But with that hole in there, we can actually pass through the speaker pocket and get over into this area, and it just makes it a lot easier. And I can look straight up into that speaker pocket from down here. So now I have to run the 2 bundles that go up to the roof through there. So I think I'm gonna be pulling pine needles out of this Blazer for eternity, man. Want some Flagstaff, baby? All right, I got this all ran up through there. I still need to, if I haven't mentioned it, I still need to poke the hole in the roof. But I just wanted to show you guys this down here. So the wiring comes in, and I have it, if you can see, I have a zip tie holding the wires nice and flat against the firewall. Then it comes up and it drapes across this wiring harness. And then I got a zip tie right here holding it, and that zip tie is loose. Sometimes it's better to just have a loose zip tie and not crank them down. It's just to kind of hold it over there in that area. And then there's zip tied right here, and it goes straight up. So it's completely just like formed back inside of there, and you can hardly even see it from right here. It doesn't even stand out. The wiring is what I'm referring to. I just don't want to end up putting the glove box back in here and it hits the wires, and I'm like, what the hell? So I'm trying to do everything as clean as I possibly can. So, and I got all my dust and everything all vacuumed up out of there. I'm gonna go ahead and close this speaker up because I'm basically done with that area. So I got the little bracket screwed onto the back of the switch panel, and I started thinking to myself, maybe I should have figured this out before I took the entire Blazer apart, you know? But yeah, I don't know, I've been sitting there going over ideas, trying to figure out exactly where to put this thing at. Like, it'll sit here, but I'd have to screw it on the bezel or over here on this side. And the only other place I can figure out would be up here. But I think up here looks kind of weird because AuxBeam is like sideways. It looks like the thing is up there sideways. Anyhow, so long story short, we decided, since neither one of us smoke, we're gonna try to get the insides. Well, we're taking the insides of the ashtray apart.
You have a flat?
A flat?
Yeah.
No.
There's a plug back here you just disconnect.
Oh, like a harness?
Yeah.
For both of them? That'd be sick. Yeah, that has obviously a cigarette lighter, and then it's got a little light that lights up the ashtray. So they both go to a single harness Jessica just found. So we'll be able to just unplug that harness and remove the entire wiring setup that's in there. It'd be really cool if the switch panel fits in the ashtray and then we can just fold up and fold down. Here's a flatty head.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It looks like it has like a blue wave clip type thing.
Yeah, just look at both sides of it. Sometimes it has like a weird little clip that's not really to unplug it, but on the other side it'll have a clip to unplug it.
But it should come right out the front though.
It's probably designed to be more accessible whenever the ashtray is actually off.
Yeah, which we can't figure out.
I do see a screw hiding in there, but if you can get that unplugged, we ain't gotta take nothing apart. I literally took every screw in this dash out. Every removable piece, minus the gauge cluster and the airbag, I've taken off. Well, and the AC controls and radio, but whatever. But I took all the screws out and the ashtray stayed there. Can I fit my hand in there?
Yeah. But are you gonna be able to do anything in there?
I don't know. I could feel it and see if I can't get my finger to lift up on it.
I don't know.
Is it pointing back or pointing forward?
Pointing down is the thing.
It's down, but is it pointing back or forward? Like the clip.
It's straight back and forth, whatever. There's 2 plugs that plug into the front that look like pins.
Okay, let me put my hand in there.
Can't see nothing with your big mittens in there.
You're not able to see this from the side, are you?
I swear to God. I see wires going into it, but no.
I can't feel a clip with my fingers.
You're in the wrong spot. Follow that wire right there. Yep, right there.
Yeah, but it's going into this.
Yeah, which is a blue thing, which I thought would have like a little claw, a claw door that kind of just would open, like the 4 like that, and you can like depin it.
Found it! Yeah, we were not going to be able to get that from inside of there, babe.
We're trying.
Yeah, I know. I know we were definitely
See,
trying.
that's what I was trying to do.
Yeah. Okay, unplug it. There it is. Doink!
Really?
There it is, baby. Open this up and gut the ashtray. Bang, bang. And now we just have that big old pocket right there. Moment of truth was up for no reason. I might have to
Trim it.
yeah, trim the outside a little bit, but I think we're in business. I mean, I think it's worth it, dude. Because then it would just be like, bow, that would be in there. And then you can just close it and open it.
I think that would be great.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Yay, you're in the mod business, baby.
The mod business?
The mod. You modify everything business.
Especially ashtrays
Yeah.
and second gen S10 Blazers.
Yeah.
Mwahaha.
Moo hoo 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 hoo.
Basically like that. Yeah, some modifications necessary.
Get the Dremel.
Damn it. I dropped it.
Baby.
What's on me?
Baby.
Baby, this is an absolute mess. The Blazer in a million pieces.
I know. Put it all back together.
Yeah, the whole top of the truck's covered in that. I hate wiring.
You know, now that you say this, I remember last time you did wiring. I didn't pick up a small mess. I picked up a whole mess.
So we scratched the idea of putting a thing inside of the ashtray. So, so under further investigation. So I was looking at it a little bit further and like I could make it work, but I would have to like, I put all this back in, all this came out, but I'd have to trim the sides like a lot in order to still get this thing to fit in there. And if I got it to fit, it still wouldn't shut. So, which would kind of defeat the purpose. And I was kind of thinking to myself, I'm like, dude, I would rather than completely cut up the ashtray and, you know, screw it all up, if it's not going to be able to shut anyhow, I may as well just screw it on there like that. It would be literally the same damn thing. Or I can open it and screw it to the top like that. And it would be the exact same thing rather than tearing the damn ashtray all up. Anyhow, I still haven't decided where I want to put that. There's so many possibilities, man. So I decided to just move on and I got the auxiliary power wire ran. I got the wire for this ran also, and I have all the excess like tucked and zip tied. So if I do decide to move it somewhere else, I'll just have to pull a little bit more slack out of the zip tie. But the auxiliary power is running all in behind there, and it comes over and it's going into the fuse box over here. And I just hooked it to the radio right there. And they actually include the, I forget what these are called, but the little wire that just taps into a fuse. They include 2 of those, which is cool. And that's just a low voltage. It's basically just a signal, you know what I mean? Just to tell the system that the car is on or the car is off, like this. Watch, it's actually all connected now. So turn the key on and it powers on, turn the key off and it powers off. Or I can turn it to auxiliary and it'll come on. And I can, you know, if we're out fishing or something, I can kick my lights on if I need them, which is really cool because this thing has a remote control, which I haven't set up yet. We also have to run the antenna. Of course, I'd have to keep an eye on my battery. Don't run my battery dead, but I always carry a jump pack with me anyhow. Okay, moving on. What do I need to do? I think I'm to the point where I just need to kind of start putting the dash all back together now. And through that process, I'm just going to try different areas for the switch panel, where it is I think I'm gonna like it the most. And while I'm here, these lights on the floorboard, both of the bulbs were actually blown. So, and I had some LEDs to throw in there. May as well. Now I just gotta get an LED inside of that ugly thing. The point of no return. Oh. Now we just have to put all the wires through that tiny little hole right there. I'm just kidding. So I gotta run that bad boy through there. I need to get it large enough to fit this grommet, in which this is the only thing I've got here, man. Dude, you would think that it would be abundantly available, like grommets for things like this. For whatever reason, I can't find it. I thought about this a couple of days ago and I started looking on stuff on Amazon and just Googling and whatever, and I really couldn't find anything. I am just going to use I believe these are called Heiko bushings. I'm gonna use a grommet in there just to put the wires through. I'm gonna get all the wires ran and everything, and then what I'm gonna do is just come back and silicone the hole shut. Just gonna put silicone in there, and I'm gonna clean around it really good with some alcohol first, and then silicone it. It'll be good. It'll either work or it won't. You know what I'm saying? Please do share a link with me if you guys can find something that makes more sense. But you know, through this whole fiasco, what I realized though is silicone works, because look, there's a hole right there that is silicone shut, and I didn't even realize it. And then down here, they had a light bar on here. There was 3 holes right there that they silicone shut, and then that's where the wire went through. And it's just silicone, dude. You can literally push on it. You can feel it moving. I guess setting you guys on the roof that I'm drilling on isn't the best idea. A little shaky. I wish my unibit was sharper. All thanks to Braven pointing out that the unibits are dull. Now I realize it. Alright, wires are ran and completely hidden. Such a satisfying feeling. Anyhow, I just need to put the sun visor back in. I gotta put the oh shit handle back on. The interior after that, pretty much done. Yep, pretty much done. Here's the wires popping out the roof. Yeah, that unibit was super dull, so it kind of like it made the paint around the hole like turn yellow, but it's fine. We're about to smear silicone all over that anyhow. So the wiring for it, I don't think I've even mentioned this yet. Notice this harness. So I ordered 8 of these lights from AuxBeam, and they actually had a harness so that I don't have to run. So this is basically 4 sets. So you can buy a set of 2, but they also have it available where you can buy 4, you can buy 6, and you can buy 8. They have, I believe, all the way up to 8, to where it's just one harness, dude. This one harness comes in and plugs into each individual light. And dude, having a plug on the light itself, I mean, that is freaking huge in itself. Instead of having, you know, sometimes the lights come, just has a little wire harness off and you have to connect the wires and shit. Yeah, dude, I'm stoked about that. And each one of these connectors, like, it not only has an O-ring, let me pop one out. So not only is the whole face of it rubber where it meets inside of there, but it also has this O-ring right here. So whenever you put this thing in, dude, that thing is watertight. Just like my roof. Anyhow, this wire right here is gonna go all the way to the back for the rear facing lights. So I'm gonna go ahead and button up the interior, get all my tools out of here, and then we gotta get these things slapped on the rear, and I think we're done. gotta tear the whole front end of this thing off the truck. I really don't have to, but I kind of want to. I'll explain when I get it all off. Oh, man, it's gonna take me like an hour to pull this headlight off of my Dodge. I mean, Ford. I mean, oh, never mind. This is a Chevy. I forgot. Just take it off in 2 seconds. Shots fired. You know, really, it's Hondas. Have you ever had to take the headlight off of one of your Hondas? And you're like, what the hell? I gotta pull the bumper off to get to this bolt, and I gotta pull the something off to get to these tins. And it's like, I love the way every Chevy I've ever owned, bro. You just pull a couple things and the headlights just come right off. I don't know, Dodge and Ford might be the same. All right, so I guess I don't really need to take the thing off completely. I just wanted to get to the back and get that. I wanted to get that out of there. Good Lord. Yeah, my AC should definitely be colder now after getting all that. I also want to take a vacuum and just kind of suck through all these fins and try to get all the debris out of it, because whenever we did the radiator, I noticed there was a lot back there. But that's not the only reason. We have to install this antenna that I set somewhere. So this thing right here, this antenna hooks to our fuse box, and then you put the antenna somewhere. Realistically, it's magnetic, and I think you're supposed to put it up on top, but I just didn't want to. And no, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking I already have everything all ran and I forgot this. I really didn't. So whenever I was running everything up there, I knew that I needed to run this as well, but then I started thinking to myself, like, does it really have to be up on the roof? I don't know, I guess it would be probably best up there, but I'm thinking I'm just gonna put it behind the grill and just zip tie it in there somewhere. This is for the remote control, because that fuse box actually has a wireless remote control that you can control all the functions, you know? So I'd be able to just turn the lights on or whatever, you know, like whatever I have hooked to it. It has all 12 presets. You just hit it and it turns on. You know what's really cool? It's magnetic. Goodbye, Flagstaff. Oh my goodness. It's gonna clog my vacuum. I'm just gonna have to grab the majority of this out. Oh my god, dude. Wow. I don't think, well, you know what? That probably was something living in there, honestly, for it to be all piled only on one side. Oh, there's so much embedded down here. Oh yeah, the AC should definitely work better now. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing all slammed back together here. Just so you know, I wanted to show you. I got the antenna zip tied right there. So it is right there inside of the grill. You can't even see it on the outside, but I think that should work pretty good, man. And if it doesn't, I could always move it later. I'm thinking the worst case scenario, the remote isn't gonna work as well from behind the vehicle because it's not getting a good signal, maybe. I don't know, you guys know how sometimes you point the remote at the TV and it's like you have to point it straight at the damn thing. Anyhow, hopefully that works out. If not, we can move it later. All right, moment of truth, 12, yeah. That is sick, dude. Rear lights I have on 11 or 10. Bow. Dude, that is so cool. Mode.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. Hell yeah.
It works.
You hear it?
You hear the fan?
Yeah. So definitely a much needed upgrade now is going to be a better battery and probably just a new alternator, I'd say. But yeah, dude, this is sick. Everything has a relay and everything's ran properly, so I don't have to worry about wires getting hot and all that kind of stuff. But whenever you kick some stuff on, you can hear everything kind of dim down a little bit. When the air conditioning is on, it stops blowing as hard. They did mention to me whenever I bought the Blazer from the family in Flagstaff, they did mention that the battery is kind of weak. So I'd assume it probably, because they didn't drive it much, that it was like starting to die on them or whatever, but it's really old also. So to get a good battery in here, and for now, I think would probably be enough. But while I'm at it, just put a new alternator on there. just for shits and giggles to be safe, you know what I'm saying? But anyhow, guys, that's pretty much it. That's the installation. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to check the links in the description down below because, of course, AuxBeam is giving you guys a discount if you want any of this stuff or anything else off of their website. I'm not going to be able to get any nighttime footage, but most certainly stay tuned for that. We're going to take this thing out. I got to get some drone footage of the lights and everything in action. If you're not subscribed to the Out of the Garage channel, make sure you do. I'll have a link in the description of that down below. But yeah, that's where we're going to be putting this thing to use the most at. Anyhow, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I hope you enjoyed it. It took like 4 days of my life. Later.